What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. Now, we haven't talked about Grand War in a good minute, so we got some catching up to do. So if you're missing some of these Grand War videos, we're going to get them back out, we're going to get them rolling. Let's just jump in. Now, we're going to talk today about Grand War 1-7. And this one is a bit interesting. It requests a win team. I'm willing to bet the water team could probably do it. I just haven't actually sat down and made that happen. If you want to examine this win team, go ahead and pause the video. Go for it. I will say this. Let me go ahead and just apply just general armor to this team. And I will say that this Finn, even though that he is max limit broken, I'm going to use him as a sack unit. I'm going to go ahead and use the revolving amulet, swap him, and this Welf out. Now, Welf probably is not a surprise here. He is one of the better, if not the best, single target buffers outside of, like, super attacks and things like that. So those two are going to be our sacks. Everybody else is just going to kind of do their thing. Now, you will notice we have some fairly low-level units on this team, and that is by design. I want to show you guys how a lot of times when it comes to these, it's really hard for me to make a video that doesn't kind of require a whole bunch of like really crazy giant maximum broken units, because I just have so many maximum broken units at this point in time. But I really want to showcase in a lot of situations where even if you haven't maximum broken your teams, you can still viably beat this. We might not get the S clear, but we should still be able to take this opponent down. And I believe there is a 20-turn limit. I don't see the limit on here, so maybe there actually isn't. But let's see here. All right, so she'll do fast heal, HP. She does a bunch of resistances and target debuffs. I'm going to go ahead and do this to get some early buffs out. Okay, we're going to go and buff her. And then, of course, we're going to do the wind resistance with Finn. And of course, Finn is going to be gone after this turn. He's really here just to like get those early resistances. Now, Haruhime being on the front line versus sacked out, coming in like turn 3 is going to be really critically important. As you saw, we took some early damage, and a lot of that, we're really going to rely on her counter heals. It is going to be super duper duper important. Okay, now we're also going to have to pay really close attention here and make sure that our debuffs don't expire. I don't believe this opponent actually does remove those debuffs, so we just need to make sure that they stay in play. I am going to go ahead and do this, though, because that will give us a big counter rate buff, and we're going to definitely need that. Actually, I'm going to wait. I'm going to go and do skill 3 with Haruhime and do that. I'm going to do that on turn 4 to make sure Yukina actually gets that, because that's going to help her out big time. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and do this buff right here. This will do a HP heal. It will also encourage a few other, defensive mechanisms and things like that. Then we're going to go ahead and go on here to continue our buff stack. And with Wealth, we're going to buff the single target damage. I say technically debuff single target resistance is kind of how it actually works out, but you get the idea. Either way, we're going to get 25% more damage out of him, and that's going to be really critical to the end game here. All right. There we go. Now we got Yukina in, and that means I need to go back here and rebuff Dawn Wind. She needs a 35% SA gauge charge. Once again, per usual, we're going to build up to a quad SA if we can help it. For everybody else, we're going to go ahead and do their big single target attacks just because, well, reasons. She's going to get 60% per self magic buff skill, so that's going to be good, really good. Yukina, on the other hand, is really going to have to come in here and do some work. So let's see. That does an extra attack. All target plus 35%. I don't think we really need that. I'm going to go back and do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do her buff on this turn and kind of see where that gets us. Now, she will do an extra attack, so I will go ahead and buff that after this turn, but I think it's just more important to get her buff skill out on this turn rather than waiting an extra turn, because that literally means that her extra attack next turn get the buff as well as, her main attack will. So, and like I said, we're going to go ahead and do Night Storm. Let's make sure nothing's falling off here. Okay, so Strength of Magic down 45%. Now, that is a counter skill that we have, but the physical resistance is going to run out. So we'll go ahead and do Blowing Wind on this turn. We will need to rebuff that. Everybody else is going to kind of do their third skill just because, honestly and just straightforward, nobody else here aside from Yukina is going to have extra actions. So, or at least not ones that really matter. So we're just going to kind of keep everything in play. There we go. Now, I do want to point out that this Eyes is from the Strike the Blood collab we just got a couple months ago, whereas Yukina is actually from her own collab that we got almost a year ago at this point. So Yukina is a fairly aged unit. Everybody else is pretty new, but once again, I haven't spec'd too much into them just because I didn't really need them at the time. And, I take that back. Haruhime does get extra actions, so we'll go ahead and buff Haruhime's extra actions too. So, I'm sorry, Eyes. Eyes gets extra actions, so we'll buff Eyes' extra actions. And Haruhime, Dawnwind for 2 turns, so she's good there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do Blowing Wind on this turn. I do see that if I don't, we're going to have things run out. I would really like to get that counter rate up, but it's more important that I keep the debuffs in play. Right now, if I do the counter rate buff that I want to do, then the physical resistance will be gone on the next turn, because I'm going to have to rebuff Dawnwind next turn. So I've got to be really careful about this. I need to pay close attention to our debuffs and make sure our debuffs kind of stay in play. So I'm going to go ahead and give Eyes her extra action. I probably should have done that turn 4, but it is what it is. She'll have one turn where she doesn't get her extra action. I don't think that's going to be the end of the world. Probably isn't the best thing, but it's also not going to be our demise. So we're going to go back and do skill 3, and I think at this point I've got enough going on. I can just do skill 3 on everybody to the end of this match. Remember, 3 turns from now, technically 4 turns, well, 3 turns from now, so turn 9, we're going to get a quad SA, and that's our big goal. Now, Haruhime will need to buff all those extra actions. We got to have that to have her buff replication. And you can see from the icons down here, we haven't lost any buffs, so we're pretty good there. There we go. Now, Yukina is lacking something here. She has strength, but no wind attack damage buff. So I'm going to go ahead and give her the 40% wind attack damage buff. That probably means that Yukina had more going into these fights. I don't think it's really going to affect her 3rd skill because that's per physical resistance reduction, but it's going to help her get a little bit more damage. And that probably would have helped me earlier on too. I just didn't notice that until now. Okay. Everything's good to go there. So now we'll go ahead and do Night Storm. Would have loved to get it out earlier. We just didn't have the opportunity. Really means that it's kind of moot because for the next few turns, we're just going to be doing what we do, but it's all right. And I want you to pay close attention here because the 2 icons at the top of our opponent here are both strength and magic buffs. And notice that even with the strength and magic buffs, we're still going to be doing just fine. So let's go ahead and go back and do skill 3. Actually, no, take that back because Yukina still needs that buff. So we're going to do that. And here we go. So, strength and magic buffed on our opponent, and with all the debuffs and everything in play, with everything we've got, even though our units are like really low level, they're not max limit broken, we're doing just fine. Now, I am a little bit worried, honestly, a little bit worried about where our health, or where his health is at, because he's still got a good amount of health, and realistically speaking, we're not going to be able to wipe that out in a quad SA. We'll do what we can. But this does mean that because they're not maximum broken, this is going to go extra turns. So, I'm going to go back to do Blowing Wind here. I'm going to go do skill 3 with everybody. And on this turn, we're going to go build up our quad SA. Quad SA is coming up now. There we go. Now, buffs, debuffs, and all that are not in play. And notice we do not have any ailment resistances, or there were no ailments or anything like that to really worry about. So all we really did, just build up the squad SA. Now, remember, Haruhime does 120% strength and magic. This unit actually does 100% wind attack damage. So now we're going to have, everybody's going to have 100% wind and 100% strength and magic. Remember, Haruhime on this turn is an actual wind unit. So that's going to help us out quite a bit. Okay, then we'll go ahead and get 100% per each self-critical rate buff. And since we got critical rate buff here on the adventurous side, we do not have it on the assist side, however. So that is, I thought we did, and apparently we do not. So I am negating a little bit of damage on eyes. If I did a little modification to our assist structure, I might actually have that, but I unfortunately don't have it built into the assist. Now, here we're going to go ahead and do per self strength buff skill. She's going to get 80%, and she does have a strength buff on both the adventure and the assist side. So, there. In fact, that's the only real buff she has from the assist. We're going to be good to go. So, yeah. Let's see what we do here. Now, unfortunately, that, like I said, that means Eyes is going to have significantly more she can do. It's kind of sucks. I really thought that I'd built it in. Maybe I need to do some modification to my assists, and maybe there's an S-Clear in the works. Eyes is going to do 1.9, so she probably had a 3 mil or better in her, maybe even more than that. And 1.6 out of Yukina. I thought Yukina would do more than that. So Eyes actually was our highest performer. That's a little surprising. Now, the best part is here, at this juncture, we've got all of our buffs, and they're not going to, buffs, debuffs, and all that are not going to run out. So we can just go ahead and worry about the replication. I will need to rebuff Dawn Wind on this turn, so I'm going to do that. And we can literally just go do our skill 3s and now focus on wiping this opponent out. So as I said, this isn't going to be an S-Clear. I know everything up to this point has been an S-Clear. If you really want my honest opinion, I'm willing to bet you probably could run the water team that I run on everything and S-Clear it. But honestly, I get tired of running that team. Not in a bad way, just, it feels cheap to have one team that is a jack of all trades. In fact, a master of all trades, really. But it is what it is. There's only so much that we can do with that team before it just becomes a snooze fest. It's like, you pulled out the water team again. There you go. I know, and it's a fun team, but it's also extremely predictable. All right, so let's just go ahead and build this up to a double essay. Remember, we don't need Haruhime anymore, and we don't need Alicia now, so all we got to do is use Eyes and Yukina for another double, and we should, at that point, have the win. So, Haruhime, we got to keep an eye on Dawn Wind, so we got to rebuff Dawn Wind on this turn. Remember, Dawn Wind is what keeps our buffs in play. In fact, realistically, we probably didn't need to do it, but, it is what it is. And this is kind of the area where now having those big counter buffs are going to make a massive, massive, massive difference. And now we're going to do a double SA. And I want to emphasize here, I really do need to restructure this because Eyes could be doing so much more for our team. We got a 1.3 out of Eyes. 2.4 out of Yukina. Ooh, that was very nice. I thought Eyes outdamaged Yukina last time. Doesn't really matter. And how much health do we have left? Let's take a look here. So yeah, this will be the last turn. Here we go. Turn 15 kill. Once again, if my units were a little bit more beefy, that would have been an easy turn 9. And once again, Eyes, if she had a counter rate buff or a critical rate buff on the assist side, would be a lot more beefy. But there you go, guys. Team 8 clear. Let's go take a look at that team one more time. I could do some minor tweaks to get this team up to a turn 9 kill. And notice that Alicia is only +1. Eyes is only +2, and she did that much damage. So if I had some more, let's say for the sake of argument, I've got some star bonds. I put some star bonds in her or something like that. She could be like the best on the team. Plus, I've not buffed her. I've only got her 3 purple star. So maybe if I maxed out her purple stars, it would help out. So there's a lot to unpack here, but do just bear in mind, this team is great. Could be even better, and if I put more max limit breaks on this team, it would have been a no-brainer. But for now, that's going to be the video. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Minor tweaks to this, you could do the S-Clear. I'm willing to bet the water team could also eke it out. If somebody wants to give that a shot, go for it. But for now, I'm going to move on to the next Grand War. And if you guys do want to see an S-Clear, let me know. I will revisit this. That's what the comment section is for. For now, like, comment, share, and I'll catch you on the next one.